Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to today's Partner Web Conference. This is Fast Track Dynamics 365 for Finance and Supply Chain Management, TechTalk. Today's topic is configurable business documents. My name is Leslie and I'm going to be your moderator today. We are broadcasting this web conference through Teams live events, and the audio can be heard through your PC speakers only. Today's web conference is being recorded on behalf of the Microsoft Corporation. Participation in the meeting today indicates your consent to being included in that meeting recording. Attendees may access the web conference recording via a link that will be delivered by email from Worldwide Learning within 5 business days. If you have any questions for the presenter team or need support, please do use the Q&A panel located on the right-hand side of your screen. Our presenters will be responding to your questions throughout the session today. Now on to the presentation. Presenting for us today from Microsoft, we have Mikhail Filatov, Principal Engineering Lead, and Nikolai Salin, Senior Program Manager. Okay, Mikhail, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Mikhail Filatov, and I am responsible for some of configurable tools, right, like electronic reporting and configurable business documents, which we'll be presenting today. So, briefly about the agenda for today's call, we'll talk about overview of scenarios and features for configurable business documents, about 2 different personas which we address with this tool. We'll do quite a lot of demos today. Actually, 4 demos, 2 of them I will do and 2 Nikolai Selin will do. And also, we'll briefly touch point regarding the document options, right? Because configurable business documents is one of document options, along with several others which you have for Dynamics 365 for finance and supply chain management. Okay, and at the end, we'll hopefully have enough time for Q&A, but while we would be answering the questions during the call as well. So the overview of configurable business documents, scenarios and features. We have released what we call electronic reporting tool, actually with the first release of Finance and Operation Cloud version, and we target this tool for Simon persona. Simon is a functional consultant. He's quite an experienced guy. He knows finance and supply chain management data model. He knows Excel pretty well, but he is not a developer, right? So this tool is no code tool which allows Simon to configure electronic outputs like payment formats, tax reports, etc., right? And it's quite powerful and have been used successfully by our partners and customers to customize actually thousands of different reports across the globe, right? What we do now with configurable business documents, we are targeting a bit different persona, what we call Phyllis, right? And she is a purely business user persona. She's an accounting manager. She obviously knows Excel pretty well, but she is not technical, right? And with configurable business documents, we empower her, give her an ability to do last mile customizations of Office templates for most critical business documents like invoices, pack and slip, etc. And this tool is available as of 10.05, and you see at the end the link to business document management page on the docs, right, which is the main documentation page for this feature. And actually we have released this feature as I mentioned, but we also have a roadmap, right? We are planning to enhance it based on your feedback. And along with the tool itself, we are releasing what we call day 1 experience or content. So basically we provide these business documents like invoices, pack and slips in Office templates out of the box, so you can get them and start using them, right? So for example, if you are fine with the standard template which we provide. You can just use, for example, Excel template instead of SSRS out of the box. And for templates, because they're not code, right, we will be delivering them in several phases, but actually most of them will be available as of October. I think that's enough for deck for now. Let me do a quick demo, introduce you to this tool. So I'm going back to finance and operations, and here we in business document management workspace, which is the Felix workspace to do customization of the documents. And Phyllis is the accounting manager in a USMF Cantosa company, and she needs to customize a free text invoice to change the layout, add the logo of her company to this free text invoice. So she goes to this workspace and she actually sees a lot of documents which are already available. Some of them developed by Microsoft, some of them developed by Simon, right, who is working in her organization. So she sees free text invoice, and to do customizations, she needs to create a new template. So I'm pushing this new template button, right, giving a name to it. Free text invoice Excel Cantosa. And when I do it, system actually moves me to the Office Online user interface, right? And now it tries to actually authorize me, right? You definitely needs license, right? Office Online license to start using this tool. So we are using Office, obviously. Okay, I am authorized now, and you need it just it will happen only once, right? When you start doing the customization. I'm coming back. Yes, now in Office Online user interface, and I can do whatever is possible in Office Online, right? For example, I can change styling, right? And as I said, actually my goal as Phyllis is to add the logo of my company. I already have it prepared, and now I'm just adding the picture here. Okay, I'm done with my changes. And now I can immediately start using it, right? To use it, actually, we integrate this feature with Paint Management. So you go to Paint Management in your free text invoices workspace, and you can use any Paint Management functionality. For example, you can configure it for a particular document or some query. And you see that by default is actually free text invoice Excel is already available here, right? And also the SSRS report is there in the list. So you see this free text invoice report and different actually formats which we have created in this environment. Okay, I choose my template, which I just customize, and I want to paint it and see whether I'm done with my customization, right? Whether I need to proceed or I'm fine and the output looks good. And now, yeah, I would be just opening the Excel file, right? But Nikolai would be doing more demos, actually showing how you can email it, right? And basically use destinations to move this report, for example, via mail. Okay, I am done with my changes. I have my logo, my styling done. So this is a quick introduction to the tool, right? So let's switch back to our decks. So that was Phyllis experience, right? But as I mentioned, right, this tool is built on top of electronic reporting, and electronic reporting tool, and actually would refer you to electronic reporting TechTalk, which we delivered some time ago, which digs deeper into all the concepts, right, of electronic reporting, does some demos of using it. But overall, we have a concept of the model, right? And this data model is defined in business terms, business entities. It's not purely finance and supply chain management entities. For example, for payments, we use ISO 222 standard. And you need to map this model with definitely data sources in finance and supply chain management. But after that, you can use this business entities to map to a particular format. And actually, configurable business document template is a case, a specific case of what we call electronic reporting format. So this is the list of models which we have, and like for every model, like for example, for invoice, you can have different outputs, different reports, like just customer invoice, project invoice, etc. And again, as I mentioned, we would be releasing the content day one experience through October till December this year. But actually, most of the reports are already available. Most critical report like invoices, so sort of confirmation, quotations, right? With all the required global changes which we support for all the 37 countries, right? So you see all the layouts, because in many cases, in many countries, there are mandatory layouts or part of the layouts, which for especially for invoices should be maintained. So what we did, we have released all these templates and we tested them obviously, right? So from the functional perspective, there are no degradation in comparison to SSRS. And also, I think that's a question which we got asked last time, right? At previous TechTalk, we also did a lot of performance validation to make sure that the performance of configurable business documents, right, is the same or better than for the same SSRS report, right? So basically, we were validating both functional coverage and performance coverage. Okay, and now I would be doing a demo of actually what Simon can do, right, to leverage the work of Phyllis and actually work together with her. So the demo would be about adding a field to free text invoice template, which Phyllis just created. So in order to do this, as a Simon, I need to go to electronic reporting, workspace. And here you will see quite a lot of different configuration because we actually have released this configuration for more than 150 features in product. And as I mentioned, our partners and customers actually created thousands of these different configurations across the world for different countries. And actually, if we think about free text invoice, as I mentioned, it's under invoice model. And you see that actually invoice model covers not only configurable business documents, but also what is called OEBL. It's actually electronic invoice for Denmark, right? So we are covering both this printed layouts and e-invoices under one model. And we have this free text invoice Excel, is this basic configuration which we as Microsoft released for configurable business documents. And in order to identify it, we actually use tags, right? So you see we have tags here saying that it's functional area invoicing, right? And it's business document type free text invoice. That's the way we integrate with print management, right? So for example, in a case you need to create your own template, which is not based on our template, as we did for CBD, right? You can actually create it from scratch here just to make sure to fill the text correctly, right? So after that, it would be available as a new configurable business documents. Okay, so I already see here also this Contosa configuration which Phyllis created as a template. And now as a Simon, I can go there and open the Excel template, which actually Phyllis is using. So we store it as attachment. Okay. As I said, what I need to do, I need to add an additional field. Actually, for Cantosa, I need to add a website of my company because it's missing here. Okay, I'm just adding a new row to make it look nice. And yeah, say it's I would do it website. In order to actually use electronic reporting functionality, I need to define named range, Excel named range, for all the cells which expects data. So I made a new range here. And as you see, actually, this template has a lot of ranges, right? So basically, this is the way we define the structure of this template. Okay, I'm done with my changes here. I can just save my template. Let's CPD. Okay. And now I can just go back to my configuration. Oops, sorry. Let me come back here. I'm going back to my free text invoice Excel Cantosa. And all I need to do is actually to import back the changes which I did. And actually, again, we have this import functionality. And for example, in case you just start from scratch, you already have a template, you can just import from Excel, right? So it would create the structure of the template for you. But I would be changing it. All right, so I'm just updating it now. Oops, sorry, just select it, update it, and what system does, it actually looks at the structure and add any new ranges which are missing in the format definition. Yes, so my new range is here, right? What I need to do now, I need to map it actually to the invoice data model. So we have definition of available data sources for data model here, and actually, as I said, I need to add a website of my company. So I'm going to the company information, and I need to bind, actually link this web URL with the website of my company. Actually, again, I'm just doing simple binding, right? But we actually have a formal language. So you see an example, right? So you can use formals and transformations similar to Excel formulas here, right? So you can do actually quite complex transformation if needed. Okay, I'm done with my changes. I need to save them. And after that, I can actually use my modified templates in the application in the same way as Phyllis did. Okay, system shows me that there are some overlapping ranges in my documents. I'm giving me some advice here, but actually I can start using it. And just one thing to mention, we have a concept of versioning in electronic reporting, right? So you can, when you are done with your changes, you can complete the version, right? And you have effective date. So basically you can have different versions of the same configuration and play with this effective date, saying, for example, that a new file format, new configuration would be available active from 1st of January 2020, for example. Okay, I'm done with my changes here. I'm not completing anything, but I already can go and start using it. So I'm coming back to my free text invoice and just print it, right? Okay. Okay. Okay, and I see www.cantoso.com here, right? So yeah, that's where I added a field, and after that I can pass as Simon this to Phyllis back, for example, and she can continue doing any last mile customizations if needed. Let's switch back to the deck, and before I give the mic back to Nikolai, right? Let's cover one topic, right, which is basically about different document options which we have in finance and operations. And basically, as you see in the slide, depending on the new needs, right, you can use SSRS, electronic reporting, and CBD, which we discussed today for profit and loss, cash flow, and similar reports. You can use financial reporting. In many cases, like if you just need to inquire over data, you can use our workspaces in finance operation, or for more deep analytics, you can use Power BI, right? So there are different options. And specifically for the document options, both SSRS and configurable business documents are fully supported, right? And depending on your needs, right, you can use in some cases, for example, SSRS, and in some cases, configurable business documents for different type of documents in your business. So, for example, if you think about SSRS, it's Visual Studio development experience for customization, right? And it probably would be the better choice if you do a lot of high volume automated printing. If you think about configurable business documents and electronic reporting, it's no code business user experience based on Office UX for configurable business documents, and actually a support of all these templates out of the box for all the 37 countries which we support in finance and supply chain management. But both options are viable, right? And you need to just analyze your requirements and see which better works for you. Both are fully supported. Okay, and now Nikolai, if you're ready, you can go deeper and show how you can actually move forward with all these reports and do emailing and further transformations.
Thank you, Mikhail. Let me continue our presentation. I would like to show to you how we can change the default destination for our generated reports and send them electronically over the mail. I will be using the very similar configuration that Mikhail already shown to you. And you already seen that by default, all the generated reports are offered to you as a files downloaded by the using browser. And alternatively, we can send them over the email. And for this purpose, what we need to do, we need to configure the dedicated destination. And we can do it for every company in our system. What we need to do, we need just to select the GR format component, which will generate to us the corresponding document, because a single configuration can generate multiple documents, and we can configure different destination for each of them. And here you can see the list of supported destinations. In addition to the email, we can get it as a file. You've already seen it. We can just get this document on the preview screen, for example. If I will select this jar configuration using for this selected text invoice. Now I expect that it will be given to me on a separated tab of the using browser instead of the downloaded file. And let me see, I haven't saved it yet. That's how it looks like. And if you want to make the email, you can do it in here as well. And so what I need to do, I need to specify who will receive my email with the attached invoice. We can use the standard print management functionality, specifying the recipient based on the content of the processed invoice. Or if we have a more complicated logic to select the recipient email address, we can use the GR expression builder and get the email from the data sources configured by Simon in advance for this GR solution. In our case, I will be getting this email address from the invoice details using information about the contact person from the customer side. So I will select this data source, save it, and here I can specify the subject and body. Of course, you can define the text as a fixed values in here. And if we will print out this invoice again, in our case, I will simulate it by using the posting feature. As you can see, if you have a proper permission, you can change the default configured destination on the fly if you need to change it. And now the generated document will be attached to the created email and send it to the electronic mail. And here you will see the attached invoice. But alternatively, what you can do, you can, instead of using the fixed text for the subject and the body, what you can do, you can use the already available templates that can be configured in advance for every organization. For example, what you can do, you can just create the email template with a certain ID and specify how the email subject text and the email body text will look like. And I did this example using certain placeholders, expecting that I will fill in those placeholders at runtime using the information from the processed invoice. In the body, it will be information about the customer company, about our company, and about the contact persons from both sides. In the email content, it will be the invoice ID information. So what I need to do in order to get information from this template at runtime. First, I need to find the appropriate records in the application tables, and for that purpose, I need to configure the model mapping. The provided by Microsoft solution already contains such as settings, but if you need to change them, you can do it, because everything what I'm showing, it's configurable and requires no code changes. And here you can see that what I'm doing, I'm just getting information from the table containing organizational templates using the code of the template I've prepared in advance. If you want to change it, or if you want to use different templates for different companies, you are free for doing this. Then what you will do whenever you get it, you will find the template that is configured for the language that is equal to the language of the processed invoice when you want to generate the text of the body and the subject in the invoice language, not in the default language. And then when you did that, you will just place this information to the data source, to the data model that will be used as a data source by our GR format using to generate our documents and send emails. So when we did that, we can just configure our format and say how we will offer this information for the user who will configure our email destination. As you can see, here we have a body and subject that we placed to our data model, and we preserve the situation when you have no configured template. In this case, the default text will be used. For example, this default text will be used to generate the subject. And here you see that there is a label that is configured for doing that in all supported languages. So what you can do, you can just take a look at it and see how it looks like. That's the text. And since Michael already mentioned that all these functions are Excel-like, here you can even test and see how your subject text will look like if you would, for example, process the invoice with this ID. So the text will look like this. So you can just test your formula just on the fly when you design it. So now when we do that, when we configure our template, what we can do, we can just go back and change our destination. And here, instead of the hard-coded text, we will just refer to the proper data source field. Save it and resend our invoice. So with using our template, our email looks much better, and you can even do some formatting, use company logo and do all this nice stuff. It's a standard functionality. So the question is, what if you would like to customize or modify the provided solution? How it can be done? For example, you would like to change the email template, and for example, in addition to the invoice ID, put to the subject the invoice date. Is it possible or not? Yes, it's possible. First, what you need to do, you need to change the subject text in the template by adding a new placeholder. And second, what you need to do, you need to change our format, specifying how you will fill in this new placeholder. So what I will do, I will find my configured subject. And here, in addition, actually what I will be doing, I will be using the format function. As you can see, there is a description of it, how it works. And here I would like to place the date, but the date will not be taken because it should be converted to string. I will be using this date function. And here I will say I would like to pick up the invoice date from my model, and I would like to convert it to the string using, for example, this format. Save it. And we send our email. So you can see that currently our subject text, in addition to the invoice ID, contains now the invoice date taken from the application database. So that's how we can just do our emailing. And now I can show to you how we can reuse our GR formats that have been initially designed to use Excel templates and change them to start using Word templates for generating same kind of documents. So I will be using this solution, and to make it editable, because it's created by Microsoft and it's read-only to me, I will create my copy of this GR format configuration, and now it's owned by my company, by Contosa, and the draft version is available to me for editing. And I would like just to immediately start using this configuration, just to see how it looks like without any changes. I'll select Contosa Word. And generate the invoice. Since I have not configured any custom destinations, I will get it as a file. So now to me, it looks like this. So if I want to use the alternative template, what I need to do? I will open this configuration in the GR designer and access this template. As you can see, it's attached as a document management attachment. So what I need to do first, I need to design in the Word the alternative template. And actually what I did, I took the template which is offered for everyone as a template of the Microsoft Office and designed this template. When I design it, actually what I was doing, I was just putting as a placeholders to this document the required content controls that will be filled in by the business data from the processed invoiced at runtime. And the individual controls can be used to populate individual values of the individual fields. The repeating section content control can be used in our case, for example, to generate lines of our invoice. When I design it, I can just delete the Excel template from the list of attachments and point to the design template, attaching it to my GR format. So now it's a Word. And here I will select it and I will save it. And at this time, what happens, GR is placing to this document a new custom XML part having the same structure as our format. As you can see, it's the same structure as you can see on the left-hand side panel of the GR format. So you don't need to do it manually, it can be done automatically. And what you need to do after that, you need just to select every field and map it with the appropriate field of the custom XML part. And when you did that, you will save changes in your template, come back to the list of the attachments, remove the template without content custom XML part, and attach the updated one. I already did it, so that's why we are ready to start using our template. So now I will generate a document for the same invoice. And now, as you can see, I have this document, but in the Microsoft Word format. And they have company information, customer information, and the details of our invoice. And since we marked this configuration as the activated for the business document management workspace, what you can do, you can just go to the business document management workspace and hand it over to Phyllis, and she can continue working with this template if any other modifications are needed. Michael already shown to you how it can be done, because it can be done for the Word template the same way as for Excel one. So here is the list of the resources. This deck will be shared with you, so you can just go through all these materials if you will have any other questions. And I guess it's time for Q&A now, so we can answer your questions.
Okay, so yes, thank you, Nikolai. So I think that you started answering to several questions here, right? And again, guys, just I think it's from question, how do I get out of box templates? I don't see any when I go to business document management. We publish all the configurations in LCS in shared asset library, and I think Nikolai will just show it to you here, right? So configurable business document templates along with all ER templates are stored there, right? So basically, you can connect to LCS from electronic reporting, actually. Here, Nikolai will show it to you. Yes, here, right? We have this concept of a repository, right? An LCS repository.
And when you will open it, you will see the content of the shared asset library and all the configurations that are presented in the asset type GR configurations. Some of them will contain templates, if it's a document that will be generated in the human readable format. Some of them will not contain templates, if it's electronic documents, so they will not be presented in the business document management workspace.
Yes. So there's a question about PDF, right? So I think that we support PDF, but PDF is supported for fillable PDF templates, right? So basically, if you have an template in PDF, like for example from US government, right? In many cases from other governments, right? You can actually use it in electronic reporting and actually produce output in PDF, right? So this is supported, right? Yeah, so Nikolai is showing it here to you, right? And also, like, there was a question how I can learn about using Word, right? It's also here, right? So you saw that, like, Word format, PDF format, yeah, it's in the same docs page, right? So you can see them, yeah, examples here, right? But I think it's continuing to answer the question about PDF. For now, we don't support transformation for example, from Excel and Word output to PDF automatically. You can do it now using, for example, MS Flow, which allows you to convert from, say, Word to PDF, right? We are looking at enabling it within configurable business documents and electronic reporting tool, right? But it's not there yet, so like we are looking into enabling this. But actually, if you already have a PDF template, right, you can use it with electronic reporting and produce the output PDF file. So there are other questions, like for example, I know there was a question, I know, Mikhail, maybe you can, how do you map the value for %1, %2, and so on? I think it's about your template. I don't know.
Actually, let me here. I guess what I did, I just take the details line, and here, if you have like a quantity, amount.
I think the question was mostly in your, when you did the this body email template body with %1, person.
Okay, it's quite simple. Let me show it to you. I guess you noticed that I was using the format function. And if you go through the documentation, you will see that this function is doing the very simple thing. This function is taking the text from the first argument, trying to find the placeholders %1, %2, %3, etc. And after that, replace them by the values from the argument 2, argument 3, and argument 4, etc. So here it's described, and there are some samples how it looks like, how it works. So actually what I did, I just put one more placeholder and extended the list of parameters, assuming that the third argument will be used to replace my second placeholder. That's it. It's very simple.
Yep. Continue with the questions. I think is it possible to auto-archive printed document? I think yes. So we support actually, if I think what Nikolai was showing, right, in destinations, right, archive for SharePoint, right? So
yeah, actually, if you go back to the GR destinations, here you will see there is an archive, and here you can just say I would like to enable it, and here there will be a list of the supported document types configured in the document management, and you can select the required one, which means that you can specify that whenever you will execute the GR format, the corresponding record will be created in the GR execution log, and the created document will be attached to this record by using the document management workspace, and file physically, depending on the selected docu type, will be stored either in the Azure Blob storage, where it will be kept encrypted, or it will be stored on the SharePoint. So it's just like this, electronic reporting jobs. So here you will see the documents generated as an attachment, if there are any. So that's your archive that you can configure using destinations.
And will outbound email be tracked in Dynamics? I think, yeah, we're just using standard SMTP integration, so I think it's something.
Yeah, actually, we are using the same emailing as is used for everything else. So that's why, if it's supported by this, it will be supported in jar as well.
Is it possible to use the email templates function from a report viewer? For example, if a user chooses in the viewer to send your work via email. I'm not sure I understand.
So it's not a
question
question to the GR, because
Yes.
actually when we preview our documents, we are using the standard viewers, which are available for documents generated by any other tools. So it means if it's supported by the viewer, it will be supported for documents generated by GR.
Right. So yes, it's outside of the functionality which we have, right? But yeah, if it's supported by this. So yes, is there any documentation? I think yes, we actually have this ER documentation, and also for business document is AK.ms, business document management.
And it can be found in here as well.
Yeah. So this is the main topic, and actually, yeah, we are looking at like hands-on labs and some pub activities and courses, right, will be coming shortly, right? So, I think, but basic documentation is already available here, right? And I think more to come, right, with labs and boot camps, etc. Right?
Yeah, just when you start looking at it, don't forget to activate this feature in the feature management. Otherwise, you will not see it.
Yeah, I think it's like, again, it's there was also the question which answered, right, via text, right? But yeah, as any other features, it's under feature management, right? So it's available in 10.05, but in order to really see it in UI, right, you need to just enable it, right, in your environment. So via feature management, and after that you'll see it, right, and basically like can connect to the documentation, etc. Right. One more question which I see. Can you show the email sending status form? Have the sent out emails are shown there? Sending status. Choose.
I guess if you're talking about emailing, it should be somewhere in there. Something like this.
Maybe in email process. Email sending status on the right hand side. Oh, it's higher. It's on right and higher. Email processing and below. Go higher. Like, yeah, to the right. To the right. Yeah, you see. Email sending status. I think it's here. Yeah. Something 100%.
Yes.
I think it's okay. So, okay. I don't like continuing with our questions. So, what else we have? I don't see the documentation. Do I have to be part of? No, it's all of this is on docs.microsoft.com, right? So.
Yes.
I think we'll share the deck, right? But actually just go to docs and search business document management, right? So it would be there, right? So can the formats be built specific to customers? Yes, exactly. And I think that basically, as you see, if you go back to free text invoice, right? So we integrate with print management, right? Fully, right? So it means that, for example, if something is customer specific, just using standard print management functionality, you can choose it for a given
just
customer.
override and select the alternative. For example, for one customer, it can be one GR format, for another GR format, and for everyone else, it can be the default SSRS report. They can be working parallel, it's not a problem.
Yes. So all this, like, again, as long as you can do it in print management, you find if it's this customer or maybe some other settings like some QA, right? All this is fully supported, right? So when print management just decides to use, for example, for this customer something, right? It will look at the settings. If it's configurable business document, it would run it, right? So.
just real quick. Oh, sorry to interrupt.
No, yeah.
Just real quick while we're waiting for any final questions or before you guys wrap with final words, wanted to let folks know that I have posted a link to a very short survey in the Q&A panel there, and we'd greatly appreciate it if you could take a moment to access that link prior to logging out and give us your feedback. We'd greatly appreciate it. The survey scores are on a scale from 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest score possible. With that, back to Mikhail and Nikolai for any final words or final questions.
Okay, I think we so I think that, yeah, there was a question about the link. Yes, so we'll have all the link in the deck, right? So it's like,
yeah, it's one of the slides.
Yeah. So it's here, and again, it's like configurable business documents was like on top there, right? So it's, yeah, you see top link aka.ms business document management, right? So just go there, right, and it would actually put you to the documentation page, right? And also electronic reporting functionality is available there. Okay, I think that let me see if we have any other questions. Yes, about security. So basically, yes, Nikolai, maybe we have show it, right? We can configure depending on the specific area, right? Functional area who have access to it. And again, depending on, for example, your company rules, you can, for example, say that for sandbox, you allow Phyllis to do this customization. In prod, you don't allow it at all. So all of this is achievable. So basically, you have a specific access permission for business documents when you enable it. So I think you can start using it.
To specifying those rules, you can either use all the tags you have for, you can specify for every document like this, or you can just explicitly refer to the individual jar configuration. So it's up to you.
Okay, I think that we are out of time, and thank you guys for joining us on this call today, right? So again, if you have any questions, actually, like we put our mails, myself and Nikolai, into the deck, which you will get. So you can contact us directly if you have any additional questions. And obviously, right, start actually playing with the tool, seeing what it can give to you, right, and give us feedback. And we are looking forward to, let's say, successful implementation. Any issues, we are eager to resolve them and work with you to make it a success for our customers.
All right, super, thank you. This concludes today's web conference. The recording and a copy of the presentation deck will be available within 5 business days. Please do look for an email from Worldwide Learning that will include details on how to access them. I'd like to extend a great big thank you to our presenter team today. Thank you, Mikhail, Nikolai, and Anastasia. And thank you, audience, for logging in and joining us. Have a great rest of your day.